The Norse gods and goddesses. The Norse gods belong to two major clans, Aesir and Vanir. Odin, Frigg, Thor, Loki, Baldur, Hod, Heimdall and Tyr are the most elevated representatives of Aesir and are known as the main gods. The second clan, Vanir, contains the fertility gods and Count Njord, Freyr, and Freya, as their most notable members. Despite the antagonism between them, it was necessary for the two families to combine their powers and ideals for all to prosper. Odin, the supreme deity of Norse mythology, and he is the greatest among the Norse gods. He is also known as the father of all gods or Allfather of the Aesir. He was the awe-inspiring ruler of Asgard, and most revered immortal, who was on an unrelenting quest for knowledge with his two ravens, two wolves, and the Valkyries. He is the god of war and being delightfully paradoxical, the god of poetry and magic. He is famous for sacrificing one of his eyes in order to be able to see the cosmos more clearly, and his thirst for wisdom saw him hang from the world tree Brazil for 9 days and 9 nights until he was blessed with the knowledge of the runic alphabet. His unyielding nature granted him the opportunity to unlock numerous mysteries of the universe. Frigg, Odin's wife. Frigg was a paragon of beauty, love, fertility and fate. She is perceived as the goddess of family, marriage, motherhood and the sky. She was the mighty queen of Asgard, a venerable Norse goddess who was gifted with the power of divination, and yet was surrounded by an air of secrecy. She was the only goddess allowed to sit next to her husband. Thor. Thor is one of the most famous and recognizable Norse gods in today's world. He was the god of thunder and lightning who wielded the Mjolnir, a devastatingly powerful hammer that could slay giants and smash mountains. He rode a chariot drawn by 2 massive goats called Danneost and Tangrusnir. He was the son of Odin. He was often regarded as the strongest of all the Norse deities. Since he was tasked with safeguarding Asgard, the stronghold of the Aesir, he was perhaps the most popular of all the gods and was worshipped by most Vikings. Loki. In Norse mythology, he wasn't the son of Odin and brother of Thor. He was considered a blood brother of Odin who lived amongst the Aesir. Loki was known as the Trickster god, equipped with the ability to shapeshift into a multitude of different forms. His relationship with the other gods was complex. On some occasions he helped them, on others he hindered them. Baldur. Another son of Odin and half-brother to Thor. Baldur was the god of light and purity. He was described as a fair, kind and handsome god whose beauty was unparalleled. Often praised by others for his mercifulness, Baldur was the epitome of all things wise and good. He is most famous for his demise. Although it was believed he was immortal, he had been prophesied to die. Hod is a blind god, associated with night and darkness. He was the son of Odin and Frigg. He was tricked by the evil fire god Loki into killing his brother Baldur. Heimdall. He is the watchman of the gods, called the shining god and whitest-skinned of the gods. He dwelt at the entry to Asgard, where he guarded Bifrost the Rainbow Bridge. He required less sleep than a bird, could see 100 leagues, and could hear grass growing in the meadows, and wool growing on sheep. He kept the ringing horn, Gjallarhorn, which could be heard throughout heaven, earth, and the lower world. It was believed that he would sound the horn to summon the gods when their enemies, the giants, drew near at the Ragnarok, the end of the world of gods and men. When that time came, Heimdall and his enemy Loki would slay each other. Tyr. The one-armed god of the Norse pantheon. He who represented as god of war and bloodshed, or he was also known as a bringer of justice and order. Tyr was best known for wrestling the monstrous hound Fenrir and losing his arm in the process. Njord was the god of ships and seafaring as well as the god of wealth and prosperity. He was seen as having dominion over the winds and the coastal waters. And his association with ships, especially for a people like the Vikings, naturally connected him to trade and commerce, and with the wealth to be derived from those pursuits as well. He was in fact a god of wealth in general. He himself was said to hold vast wealth, and men frequently prayed to him when they had material requests such as land or equipment. Njord was worshipped by sailors, fishermen, and anyone else that had reason to travel over the waves. This worship was so firmly rooted that the god would continue to be invoked by seafarers around the North Sea well after the Viking Age had passed, and Christianity had come to dominate the region. Freyr, the god of wealth and of the harvest, and patron god of Sweden and Iceland. Freyr had power over rain and sun, bountiful harvests, good fortune, happiness and peace. He was the brother of the fertility goddess Freya. His father was Njord, a god of the sea, who also ruled over prosperity and good harvests. Freya is a goddess associated with love, beauty, fertility, sex, war, gold, and Aesir, magic for seeing and influencing the future. Freya is the owner of the necklace Brisingamen, rides a chariot pulled by two cats, is accompanied by the boar Hildisvini, and possesses a cloak of falcon feathers. Along with her twin brother Freyr, her father Njord, were Vanir deities associated with agriculture and subordinate to the warlike Aesir gods, who were associated with battle and victory. According to the myths, war had once broken out between the Aesir gods and the Vanir gods. As a part of the peace treaty there was an exchange of hostages, and Njord, Frey and Freyr left Vanaheim, the home of the Vanir, and went to live with the Aesir gods in Asgard.